Hello, hello, hello. Margaret Lloyd here. Eternal shift, new life ahead. Welcome. Saturday, January the 25th. Wow. 5 more days. Yeah, wow. Where has this month gone? I'm glad it's almost gone. It's been a long month. But it is the 25th. Absolutely. So, I had somebody ask me a question. Let's see. Let me get back down here. There we go. They asked a question. Is there any information or summary available, a document explaining narcissistic abuse in a simple yet detailed way to someone who has never had the experience but needs to understand it? Well, yeah, there kind of is. Narcissists will start out by loving you to the nth degree. They will just love bomb you until they have their hooks in you. And then you'll see. They will love you like no one has ever loved you before. They throw in there a childhood abuse story or stories of being mistreated by their exes. And you'll feel sorry for them. That's what mine did. You know, he told me about how he'd been cheated on by his exes and how they were abusive to your son. His family stories were always good. You'll start caring for him. You'll feel sorry for him. You'll start giving them coffee and breakfast through their bedroom windows because they just suck you in, get their claws into you. That's what happened to me. He moved in next door to me. Told me how his ex-wives, ex-girlfriends all cheated on him. I too had been cheated on by both of my previous ex-husbands. And then they'll get you so hooked in that you'll marry him. You'll have a child with him. And then suddenly, they don't like you much. They stop liking you. And he did. He stopped liking me after, I think we'd been married maybe 8 years, 8 to 10 years. And he suddenly stopped, I believe, stopped liking me. We stayed married because we had kids. He did not want a divorce. He did not want to have to pay more child support. You will try your best to get them to be nice to you again because you love them so much and don't want to let them go. So while you're trying your best to accomplish your goals, because like my goal was, if I was to ever get married again, that was going to be the last one, and I was going to work diligently to keep the marriage, to keep it intact, which I did, but he didn't. So while you're trying your best to accomplish your goals, they get more and more vicious. They'll criticize everything about you. They will, okay, I said criticize everything about you. They will try to come up with ways to make you feel bad about yourself. Oh, every chance he got, defending Margaret. If I made a mistake and had to give a reason why, defending Margaret. Why are you always defending Margaret? Well, who else am I going to defend? Anybody else around here? You see anybody else? Just me. I'm explaining to him why I did whatever I did or didn't do. Didn't do any good. They'll criticize you when you're hurt by their reactions, their actions. And they'll keep repeating those hurtful actions and grow emotionally distant. This rejection works like a magnet, if you will. Because of the rejection being so hurtful, you'll try to take the pain away by working harder at getting them to love you again. Absolutely. I would do whatever he wanted to make him happy, because I wanted him happy. And sometimes they do. They'll come back to loving you. And they give you what you're longing for. They're affectionate and kind. Which gives you hope of salvaging your relationship. That hope keeps you hanging on. But the good times they give you become less. Absolutely. And mine did. But the good times they give you become less, which will make you long for them more and work harder. At the same time, all of this is going on. The narcissist will be disloyal, unfaithful, and you'll feel it. I don't believe he ever cheated on me, in the sense of the word, but I believe he did here. But every time you address that, the narcissist will claim that you're paranoid, crazy, bipolar, or anything, And that's why they don't like you. So you make it a part of your mission to try to displease them. Try not to displease them so much. But no matter what you do, the narcissist won't change. They will stay the same. Leopards don't change spots. They keep on hating and degrading you. Then there comes a time when the narcissist will simply stop explaining anything to you and just go about their business as if you don't exist. Good girl. At this point, you're depleted and desperate. You can cry, beg, plead, ask for an explanation, but all the narcissist will do is smirk and look at you disgusted or tell you to leave them alone. Now you're mentally unstable. You're now mentally unstable. Gaslighting and manipulation, mental abuse, and intermittent reinforcement has turned you into a nutcase that's standing there looking at the destruction of yourself without making a single effort to leave them. And that's what I did. He kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to be a prostitute. I did it. I was his prostitute. I fucked guys for money. I blew guys for money. I hated it, but I did it because I wanted to stay married to my husband, whom I loved. Didn't like him, but I loved him. You're a basket case that's scared to lose the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And yeah, I was. I was a basket case. I was a nutcase. Then the nutcase leaves without a single explanation. Blocks you, refuses to speak to you because you've moved on with someone else. Well, I didn't move on with anybody else. I don't want anybody else. I don't need anybody else. You enter the most self-degrading state you've ever been in and start begging the narcissist to come back or to stay. Don't leave me. I can't live without you. Been there, done that. The narcissist has a field day with you and calls you everything from a psycho stalker to an obsessed, pathetic piece of shit that they never loved. They'll just, again, they will make everything your fault. That's what narcissists do. They'll treat you like a stranger, as if you've never shared a bed with them, and repetitively tell you to fuck off. And eventually, you do fuck off. That's the average encounter with a narcissist, in a nutshell. And that's the type of person you need to stay away from. Because narcissists are just worthless. Here's another good one. If narcissists are afraid of losing their supply, why do they push their partners away during devaluation or silent treatment period? Isn't this risky for them? Their partners their victims can find someone else. And the truth is, they don't give two fucks about you. Let's differentiate two concepts for a minute. There's supply, and then there's supply source. Narcissists have many supply sources. Examples: coworkers, strangers outside, strangers on the internet, their exes, their friends, and so on. Those are all supply sources. Now let's talk about you. You just turned into their caretaker. Yeah, you did. Their stepmom or dad from hell. You tie them down, expect things from them, police them, you name it. You don't give them the supply they need, which is the conviction of the narcissist being a good, accomplished, nice person. That's how they are at first. Absolutely. Now, okay. Now you know the real narcissist. Therefore, you can't supply them like people that are in the superficial relationship with the narcissist. Subsequently, the narcissist starts hating you. You don't make them feel good like those other people. They stay for the benefits you offer, but hate you. Hate pushes people away. The narcissist doesn't see any risk in doing so because they feel that just about anyone else is better than you. And that, in a nutshell, is how narcissists work. And they do everything they can to control your life, to control you. Now, mine is still trying to control me, even though we're divorced. And he was arrested for preventing me from calling 911 and for attempted murder as to why I was calling 911. He was trying to kill me. Now he is still trying to control my life. And it has been for the last 2.5 years. And how is he doing that? by every time his trial comes up, he comes up with a reason to postpone it. Well, the last time he postponed it, I told the DA, no more. Tell the judge, if he comes back with another one, no, we're not going to do this. I cannot do this any longer. He has ruined my life long enough. He ain't going to do it again. He's not going to do it anymore. I can kind of understand the last time we had shitty weather. But all the times before, no reason. None. Now we are scheduled on May the 5th. And I will be there, and he better be there too. And I will read my victim statement in May. And I'll let y'all listen to it. Okay, on May 11th, 2022, Martin and I got into an argument in the kitchen. Mom was eating her breakfast. Martin got mad at me because I didn't want to invite guys over for sex and slapped me. It was the first time he'd ever hit me. I told him then, if you ever hit me again, we are done. I will divorce you. For 2 weeks prior to his final attack, we were talking about an easy, peaceful divorce and how he would pay Mom her $10,000 from savings. But that never happened. On October the 8th, the day of the OU Texas game, we'd been outside working in the front yard. We got into a big argument outside about how I was too stupid to operate the power washer. Neighbors were all out and witnessed his abuse. We finished our work outside, went inside. We got cleaned up for lunch. That made him got clean. How did that? Martin asked for a glass of grape juice, so I poured him a large glass. He yelled that he wanted a small glass. I told him to drink what he wanted and I would finish what was left. Martin told me that he wanted to have guys come over to watch the game, and with each touchdown, one of the guys would get oral sex. I told him no. I was fixing him a sandwich, and he came into the kitchen and knocked everything off the counter onto the floor, told me that I was too stupid to make a sandwich and to get out of his fucking way. I did move, and the next thing I know, he is slapping me across the face, knocking my glasses to the floor. I grabbed my cell phone, started dialing 911, and he hit my left hand, knocked my phone to the floor, breaking my hand and phone. Next thing I remember, his hands were around my neck. And he is saying, I'm going to kill you. I can kill you. I will kill you, at the top of his lungs. My mother heard this and yelled, stop acting like children before someone gets hurt. When I let go, I fell to the floor, and I urinated my pants because I lost consciousness. I jumped up, grabbed my phone and glasses, ran to the bathroom to change clothes, but he followed me, and I jumped on the bed to avoid his reach and ran to my mother's room, closed the door. I knew he would not come in. He knocked on the door saying, "If the police show up, we're done." I told him, "When you slapped me, we were done." I called the police. They came and arrested him and took my clothes that were ruined. My mother and I went to the hospital. X-rays, CTs, lab tests were done. My left hand was broken. It had to be casted. While at the hospital, I had to ignore calls from Denton County Jail to bail Martin out. We were in the hospital until about 9 p.m., approximately 4 hours. The Denton County Jail called me at 11 p.m. advising me that Martin had been released on bail. I decided I would sleep in the living room in case Martin decided to come into the house after being told there was a restraining order. I got my 38 out of my gun safe. At around midnight, I hear someone at the front door putting in the code to open the door. I yelled, "If that door opens, you will be shot." Martin stopped and asked for clothing, wallet, and glasses. I told him to get off the property and I would get it for him. I went and got his stuff, looked through the peephole, and he was on the street. I opened the door with gun in hand, threw his things out to the driveway, told him never to come back. I saw him leave. I barely slept in the chair all night long because I knew he could get into the house without hearing him if I slept in the bedroom. On Sunday, October the 9th, I had the locks changed on the front door. The following Monday, I went to the attorney's office to start divorce proceedings. Later that day, I had to go to Best Buy to replace my phone at the cost of $500. I tried to get reimbursement for the state for victims of abuse, but I only got $100 for my clothing and phone damaged. Next day, I received a text from Martin wanting clothing so he can go see an attorney. I got a black trash bag and put his suits and shirts in. I put it by the garage door and told him to get them within 2 hours. They go in the trash. I saw my neighbor outside a few hours later, and she said she saw him pick up the bag in an Uber. Martin kept emailing me about wanting to get back together, which I ignored. And the last was about seeing a counselor. I told Martin that seeing a counselor at this time will not be happening because I gave him my limits and have filed for divorce. And I'm wanting to add this to it. With the work I have done to improve my life, I am finding myself again through talking with my counselor and listening to YouTube podcasts by well-known psychologists. With a punishment fitting for what Martin Hickman did to me and the stressful life of my mother having to listen to his tirades, including but not limited to the money taken from my mother, I am asking the court to give Martin Hickman the punishment befitting the crime. And that's what I intend to read on May the 5th. Let him know what he did to me and how he affected my life. My life has not been the same, nor will it ever be the same. And I had to move from Denton, Texas, because I did not feel safe. I remember one day in Albertsons where a man walked up to me and with that all being said, I wish you all a happy, happy weekend. Peace and love. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.